Okay, let's get started. Number one, okay, your inventory method is perpetual and it's going to be Lifo. So let's go ahead and record what happened on May 5th.
We purchased 1,000 units at $3. Rate was 100.
Okay, so bringing up my first inventory worksheet. I have 1,000 items. Now, which column am I going to start with first? Under the purchase, yes. So I have quantity. Oh, what? Mine's a little off. There you go. So I'm going to start off with my quantity here of 1,000 items, and I know it's $3 each, and my freight is 100. All right. So what is my total purchase price here? 3,000. Yes. Then my total cost is now my total is 3,100. What is my average cost per item? 310. All right, and I'm using simple equations in here. I'm literally taking my items and I'm just adding them and using the adding system, right? No complicated formula there. All right. All right, and then now that we have here our first batch, what are we going to do now? We're going to, where are we going to put this batch? Yes, we're going to go ahead and transfer this over into our inventory. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and multiply these across. So then when I update my inventory, it will update it the minute I type in a number. Now, what else do I need to do? Is this the only batch I'm going to have?
Color coded.
All right, we got to color code it. Okay, just so that we can indicate the colors a lot easier instead of looking at the dates that has happened, which I did not fill in. Okay, so let's see what color you guys want to choose today.
Red is fine.
Red.
And like Lynette said, if it's okay with us, put the date in here.
Yeah. And this was May 1st.
May 5.
Oh, May 5. Yeah, you're right. May 5. Okay. All right. So, what has happened next?
We sold 550 units at we will calculate based on the original cost, which is 310.
Yes. Okay. So, we sold 550 items on May 10. Now, where am I going to put that? Under cost of goods. So 550. And what number am I taking from? We're going to take from 310. Actually, yes. Equals 1705. Yes, that is. All right. So now what are we going to do here now? Okay.
I'm sorry, I went to the particular.
I got it. Don't worry. I got you. So total cost we're going to do here is we're going to subtract our 1705. All right. And we're going to add these up. So as you notice, if you're not familiar on how to use accounting, every time we enter in a negative number or a negative dollar value, Excel will calculate it in parentheses. Okay. So just to make sure that you recognize that, this is an Excel thing. It's how they calculate money because you don't have negative money for some reason. They just format it so it's in parentheses to help you recognize that that's considered negative money. All right, just a little FYI. So I'm going to get a grand total of $13.95 at the end of the day. So what do I do now? And we get exactly. Good. We get $13.95 total. Okay. What else happened on May 12th? Actually, wait. Yeah, May 12th. Wait. May 10. Okay, wow. I skipped a number. May 10. What happened on May 10?
Purchase 850 units.
At $3.25 each. And how much was freight?
75.
Good. So I'm going to go over here. I have to change this to May 7. And then this one is May 10. So where are we going to start off now? Which column? Purchases. So here we purchased 850 at $3.25 each. What is my total purchase here? 27.6250. My freight was 25, giving me a grand total of how much? $2,837.50. And lastly, what is my cost per item? Okay, so I'm going to just expand this so you guys know it is not a rounded number. Okay. Okay. Then what do we do now? Correct. I'm gonna go ahead and put that there. It's going to be for this long amount here. Okay. Again, it's my formatting, so I'm hiding all those numbers, but if I were to expand it out, wrong way to expand it. If I expand it out, I know that it's going to be a long number, but this is going to be a rounded number of 2,837.50. All right, now that we have a second batch, what are we going to do with this one? We're going to indicate this as another color. All right, and what color should we choose today? Green? Dark green, light green. We'll do light green, just so we can see the numbers a little better. Okay, so boom, we have our second batch. We indicate it, it's going to be green. Okay. So what happened next on the 12th of May?
$360 units sold at $10 each.
Good, good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and indicate the date here. So, on May 12th, which column are we going to start off now?
Cost of goods sold.
Good. We're going to be in the cost of goods sold. And how many items did we sell? 360. Good. Now, let's look at our batches. We have a green batch and we have a red batch. We're dealing with Lifo. So which batch are we going to be taking out of?
The green.
The green. Exactly. Now, let's go ahead and let's talk about what number we're going to cost each item that we sold. So, do we actually have enough to take out of the green batch? Yes, we can take 360 items straight out of our green batch. So, what is my cost per item for the green batch? Good. And what is my total cost going to be here?
Total 176.
Yes. Now here is going to, this is where I actually prefer the way that you format it. You can format it how you want to format it so it looks as if it will round to the nearest penny. But what I can do is I can also do equal round. Now what equal round does is it allows you to make a calculations with a whole bunch of decimals behind it. And what it's going to do is it's going to round off to the number of decimal places that you would like to prefer. Now in this case, I have equal round here. I'm going to go ahead and click tab to enter it to initiate my formula. And I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to multiply it by the long number because we know it's going to be at the end. My number is going to be large. It's not going to be a round. It's not going to be a nice equal or rounded number. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do my formula. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and do a comma. And I want 2 decimal places because we're rounding to the nearest penny. So this is where I go and establish 2. And I'm going to do my ending parentheses to ensure that is all I need for my formula. And I'm going to go ahead and press enter and see. Now I get 1201.76. Now, if I were to expand this exact one, right, I'm just going to show you for example. If I were to expand this, it's going to be a bunch of zeros afterwards, okay? So no matter how many times you extend it, it's going to be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay? Now if for example, I go ahead and say I don't do that equal round, right? Now, if I were to just go ahead and directly multiply it across, I'm getting 776470588. Okay, so here I know I'm not gonna round up. I'm gonna round down, or I'm not gonna round at all. It's going to be 76, just the way it is. Now, if you have that little extra number, let's say it's a 5. Now that is where it's going to be tricky because you have the choice. Do you go up, or do you keep it the way it is? Oftentimes we always say when you have a 5, or was it 0 through 4, you stay the way it is. Anywhere from 5 and above, you round up. But in this case, that can hurt us if we were to round up. But for this, just the way that you format it, I want to make sure that I have you guys recognize that you can do it that way, just so then your numbers that you pop in here, they are going to be, rounded, because again, these are the numbers that you're going to be using in your journal. So equal round, tab, this, multiply this, comma, 2, and I'm going to make sure that I'm going to round this number off to the nearest penny. So then when I actually do my calculations here, I will be at a solid number instead of getting that, what do you call it? That rounded, that the other number, the the unrounded
Man,
number.
I'm
Yes.
I'm a little thrown off just a smidge, and anyone else that's listening, of course, please chime in. I'm in both of my calculators. I times 360 times 3.3382, and
Mm-hmm.
I got 1201.752. I
Okay.
can't get through, so I'm confused on that.
That's because you stopped at 8.2.
Oh, okay. So there's some numbers behind that.
Yes, 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 yes. So what I like to do to get, if I'm using a calculator, right, versus this. If I use a calculator, I like to do is multiply find out the cost per item. So in this case, I'm gonna get 2,837.50, and I'm gonna divide it by 850, and I'm gonna get this 3 point all that number, right? I'm gonna leave that in my calculator. And then I'm going to go ahead and type in, I'm going to multiply that by 360. So then I'm not tampering with that cost per item because, again, I'm only displaying four extra numbers just so then you know we haven't rounded yet.
Okay, because when I added the last two numbers, it came out, but that was like when I was doing just the four or the five that you have
Mm-hmm.
in that particular column, I got a completely different number, so I was thrown off.
Okay, yes. So when you're dealing with those kind of numbers, you want to make sure that you keep the full 3.338 whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. Make sure you keep that in your calculator. Unless you choose to round at the very beginning, at every single cost per item. If you choose to do that, then that's a completely whole new story. Then everything else that you calculate, it's going to be safe and sound. It's going to equal exactly how you have it. But that's if you choose to round early. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, so when it comes to determining the decimal points, up
Mm-hmm.
to what degree? Up to 5, 6, 7, 8 degree, up to 5, 6, 7, 8 points, decimal
Number
points.
after the decimal.
Yeah,
Are you talking about on for the cost per item, like displaying it?
yeah, that's what you have, or what you're in right now on the inventory. It says 3.338235.
Okay.
So in order to calculate out of the, multiply that 360, although
Mm-hmm.
it comes out basically the same as the total cost, but when you multiply that, up to what decimal points would you be multiplying it with? Up to the six decimal points, is that six?
How many
Okay.
numbers after the decimal point do we stop?
All right. Now, because you guys are using calculators, try to get as many numbers as you can, right? On Excel, right? If I format my inventory worksheet, I can format it to look just like this. I can say it's 3.34. But I know by looking at this number here, right? I know it's beyond that. Now, again, and then here, the great thing about Excel is you don't need to punch it in your calculator. Now, the question was how many I need to push in my calculator. I would recommend you to do the to resolve for the cost per item again. So do your 2008 3750 divided by that 850 so you have that long number. I don't want you to have to constantly clear the calculator out and having to punch all 6, 7, 8, or 8 digits after that. Because again, every number that you round off to, so whether it's 4 digits, 6 digits, 8 digits, it's going to give you a more and more and more precise rounded number. Okay? So for this instance, you had to press all 6 numbers and it got you exactly where we needed to be. Now, that can be very different. For this circumstance, 6 numbers may help you, right? But if you're dealing with that, like a ridiculous number, you may have to do 7 decimals in order to get the nearest penny worth. All right, it will depend on each case scenario, but if you are just wanting to know what to press in your calculator, my recommendation is to resolve for the cost per item so you have that long number, or try to type in anywhere from 6 to 7 digits after the decimal. Okay, but because of that, you can also have a little typo there as well, because you might press a number trying to press all the other extra numbers in there. So you also want to be careful with that. It's all of it, all of this is always going to be human error. Okay, so yes, my recommendation is you either resolve the cost per item, leave it in your calculator, and then calculate your the items that you sold, or again, type in the cost per item to as much as anywhere from 6 to 7 digits after the decimal. Okay, so in this case here, I have my number of 1201.76. Okay, and I'm going ahead and what are we doing? What do we do here? What are we doing?
We're taking over 260 out from the May 10, 850.
Yes, we are. Oh, and we have 490. Good. And now here we're gonna subtract. And we get how much? $16.35.74. Okay. And lastly, what do we gotta do here? Which we already solved it here, which is what are we gonna be placing it as? 490. Yes. All right, and here we got 1635.74. Yay! Good so far. Everyone okay?
I am.
Okay. So what happened on May 15th?
On May 15th, you sold 600 units.
Yes, I did. So here, May 15th, I sold 600 units, right?
At cost of goods sold,
Mm-hmm.
and then so cost per item is at long number
Mm-hmm.
3.338235.
Now, question to you. We sold a total of 600 items. How many items do I have remaining in my green batch?
You know what? I do that so often.
That's okay. We only have 490 out of 600, right? So, how many do I need to take out of my red batch in order for me to continue?
110.
I need to take 110. Yes. So, because I have Excel, I typed in my calculation of 600 minus the 490. I know that I need 110 items out of the red batch. So, now we're going to take this with the long number that we solved for. Okay. Now again, we already know what the total is for this, right? We know it's going to be for the 1635.74. You don't need to calculate it, but I'm just going ahead and did it anyway, just for good practices. But you don't need to do that because we're taking the whole batch out. We're going to eliminate that whole thing. Okay, so what, and then we need to clear it out. So here, I'm going to take my 490, get 0, or I'm sorry, I need to do the proper calculations. And we're going to have a negative this number, and we're going to add those two up together to get 0. Good. We come here, and we're going to eliminate batch number green, batch green. Okay. Now we have to take our remaining 110 items. How much does it cost for my red batch to sell? It's going to cost me $3.10, which, what is my total cost here? $341. So I'm going to go ahead and pull my 450 from up here. And I'm going to subtract 110 to get my number to be 340. Did you say 349? Okay, good. Making sure I heard correctly. So here's this number, and we're going to subtract our $341 to make sure that we know at the end of the day we should have left $10.54. Right? Then we're going to change this to 340. Boom. 10.54 is our remaining batch in the red. Okay. Good. What happened on May 20th?
I can't even talk this morning. 300 units purchased at $3.50 on account.
$3.50 on account. Freight cost me how much?
$3.50.
Freight cost me 20.
Oh, you said asking for freight costs. I don't
Yes.
know, I'm not hearing.
Freight cost. Yes, it's $20. So we're buying it at $3.50. Okay, so May 20th. So I'm gonna go ahead and indicate this down here on. Oh, go.
May 20.
There you go. May 20. And we're going to start in which section?
We're going to start in the purchases section.
Yes, we are. And here we purchased 300 items at $3.50. What is our total purchase here?
$10.50.
$10.50, and we had $20 of freight, giving us a grand total of $10.70. What is my cost per item here?
3.56666667. Somewhere in there.
Wow.
A lot of sixes there.
There you go. I'll go ahead and make it this, so we already know that this is going to be one of those numbers. Okay. And then what are we going to do now that we have this batch in here?
Transfer it over to inventory.
Yes, we will. So here I'm going to go ahead and cell reference my way here, just so then I make sure I don't have to punch in my numbers. They are going to copy what I have here. And I know that this, just for good measures, I'm going to expand it so I know that it's a long number. Again, you do not have to do that the way you format your cells. You may just have just 2 decimal points. But in this case, I'm doing it for show. So 1070 is my total here. What am I going to do with this batch now?
Color code it.
Yes, let's color code it. And today, what is going to be our color?
Light blue.
Light blue for batch number 3. Okay. So now we have, well, actually, technically we have 2 batches, but that's our 3rd batch that we purchased because our 2nd batch is completely gone. But we're just indicating that it is the last thing that we purchased is going to be the blue. So, yes.
Okay, so the first batch, which is, because we're doing Lifo, last in, first out.
Correct.
Now, with that being said, as I'm looking at this, the next batch that we'll be taking from will be the red batch, right?
No,
Okay.
because we, remember, last things are the first to go. We just made a new purchase. So,
Okay.
in this case, now we have batch number 1, which is our red batch number 2, which is our green batch, now we have a new batch of number 3, which is our blue batch. Using the last in, first out, what are we going to sell first? We're going to sell our most recent last batch that we have. And in this case, it's blue.
I couldn't pull back after I said it. I had rang the bell already.
Okay. No worries. Today's Tuesday. We understand. We just came back from a holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Now we kind of have to go back and, yes, recollect our thoughts. So basically, today's another Monday. All right. So now we have here our blue batch, and it's going to be the last thing that we just entered in our inventory. So it's going to be the first thing that we sell. Okay. So then what happened on May 22nd? We sold 450 units on May 22nd. So let me go ahead and find indication. Oh, so here, May 22nd, we sold 450 items, right? Yes, total. Yes. Now, how much of the blue batch do we even have? We only have 300. So, exactly. So here, we're going to take 300, and we know if we take 450 minus 300, we should get a remaining of 150 items. Now let's look at our batches, okay? Do we even have enough to do that? Yes, red batch is 340. Okay, good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to immediately eliminate our blue batch. Already, we barely even got our blue batch and we sold the whole thing. Okay, so again, I'm just going to do that for safety measures that we for surely know we're getting rid of the whole full 1070. So here, I just calculated it. Now we're getting rid of it. So, boom. I go to my blue batch, I can safely get rid of it. Okay. Now we got to calculate our red batch. So our red batch, how much does it originally cost me per item to sell my red batch? Yes, 310. And it's going to be 465. Okay, good. 465. I'm going to now, I may have to go look all the way at the top to find where that is. So here it is, my 340. my 340. I'm going to minus another 150. So what's my total remaining going to be in my red batch? 190. Okay, and then I'm also going to indicate here my red batch. We're going to subtract the 465. And now I have 589 remaining. So what do I do here? Yes. So 340 minus 150. Okay, you can do that way. 150. Okay, 190. There you go. Okay, I just jogged my memory that we calculated down here. It's 190. Good. 190, and we can confirm that we have a total of $889 remaining in my inventory. Okay, and it matches my calculation down here. All right, so I did good. Okay, we're almost done with this little section here, and then we're going to do the next one on our own. Okay, so what happened on May 25th?
Purchased 650 units
Mm-hmm. At what price value?
at $3.75.
Good. At with freight of $50. So $650 at $375. Okay. And this was on May 25th. So I'm going to come over here to my purchases, and I bought $650 at $375. 650, 850, 650. I think it's 650. We purchased $650 at $3.75 each. So what is my total purchase price here? $24.37.50 plus my additional $50. What is my total cost? Yes, $24.87.50. Okay, and each cost per item is going to be all right. So we have another long number. So I just want to make sure I indicate that here. All right, and then lastly, what are we going to do? So I have 650 at my this to be a grand total of, oh, I think I'm dividing. So this multiply this, and good, right? And then lastly, what color are we going to have this one now?
Orange.
Orange, okay. Orange, right? So, good. Now we have a fourth batch, technically second, but it seems to me that this is my fourth batch I've purchased, and in this order. So when I sell my next item, which batch am I going to be taking out of?
Orange.
We're going to start be taking out from orange first. Okay. So what happened lastly on May 27th? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, hold on. Let me see. May 27. Now, we sold 740 items. All right. How much did we originally purchase for our orange batch? Yeah. Say it again.
No, go ahead. Don't. Never mind me.
Okay.
So you dispose that again. You have to get rid of that first, the orange patch.
Mm-hmm.
50.
So we're gonna have to split cost it again. So 740. All right, we have 750 from our orange batch, and we're going to do 740 minus our 650. So that means we need to take 90 items out of our red batch. Okay, so in this case, we know that we have a total of our 650. So we're going to actually get rid of this entire thing. So in this case, we should zero it out completely with our $2,487. And that was our last thing that we purchased. So if I were to go ahead and enter in my negative amounts, here it is 0. Here is 0. Okay. And we can go up here and safely zero this out. Okay. Now all we have left is our remaining of our red batch, so it's going to be for $3.10. So what was my total I sold for those 90 items at 310? Say that again. 279. Good. 279. So now I'm going to take my information here because I'm at 190 minus 90 gives me 100 items should be remaining. And what is my new inventory? What is my new inventory balance? If I take 589, subtract the 279, what should I have remaining? 310. All right. And if I come up here, I'm going to change this to 100. Is it going to be for 390? Oh, I mean, sorry, 310. Is it going to be for 310? Yes. Okay. So that is it for this one. And let's go ahead and confirm what our last thing is. So here on May 31st, you should have a total of 100 units on hand. And guess what? We do. So this is done. Any questions on how to do it? So I guess we're getting more comfortable with it, right?
I do have a question on a case-to-case basis.
Yes.
Granted, it's the purchaser or the customer
Mm-hmm.
wants to purchase first out from that red. So how are we gonna update or input information on the inventory?
Okay. There are two ways you can be able to take from the red. First, right? If we change our method and we claim that it's first in, first out. Second thing is your customer is not going to ever know how much you originally purchased it for. Right? Because if they said, why are you charging me $10 when I know you only bought it for $3.10, that's a ripoff. I'm not gonna pay $10. I want to pay at $3.10. No, you never reveal that information. Especially to your customers. Because you set the selling price. Remember, you set what you want the profit to be. Okay. Does that clarify your question?
No, going to be the same way still?
What do you mean the customer wants to purchase more from the red batch?
Yes. Versus the one that we want to do the inventory and things like that.
Okay.
Um,
The customer, again, will never know that you have a red batch, a blue batch, a green batch. They will never know that you're buying things at $3.10, at $3.50, at $3.33. He's not going to ever know that.
I understand that. The mere fact that customers normally, because once they like a specific item, okay, so you sell that, but my question there is, how are you gonna do the inventory, the costing and everything? Is it going to be the same way still? We still start from the last in, first out,
Okay,
like
so
we're doing right now?
the accountant is going to determine what kind of costing method you should do for the items, right? If this person says, I want to do moving average, and it's going to stay moving average, there it's going to be moving average. Now, the one thing that you can't do is you can't do LIFO this month, FIFO the next month, and then moving average the next month. You cannot do that. There's rules under Acct that you have to comply with, and you can change it, but you can only change it one time. So you have to let the IRS know, or who the federal agency, right? You have to let them know how are you costing your inventory, because ultimately they're going to be looking at your books to see if you properly placed or you properly calculated inventory correctly. And they can penalize you if you decide to flip flop and switch off, because let's say the tax accountant or the auditor, right? They go ahead and take a sample from your inventory and they calculate it themselves. They're going to be like, why is it for this month, if we were supposed to stick with one type of costing method, why is it different this month? So there's an auditing issue right there, and therefore you can get taxed for that, or you could get penalized for that, right? Because you're supposed to be accruing more revenue, and you're not paying the same tax for it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's going to be a completely different subject as far as that. Now, if you choose LIFO, you have to stick with LIFO, okay? And the accountant's going to be the one that's determining that amount. They're going to be working with the inventory managers, kind of thinking of, well, I sell toys. Does it matter if I sell my first batch, or does it matter I sell my old batch? Not really, because toys, they can last, right? They have a long shelf life. So I can sell my inventory if I'm selling the same exact toys, right? I can go ahead and safely say that I bought this 6 months ago. It's still good today. I can still sell it. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay, but in this case, the customer will never know that you're making multiple batches, right? And it's up to the inventory manager / the accountant to choose a costing method, and they cannot change it whenever they feel like it. Okay, so in this case, they can never go. They can't be for next month. They can't just take from the red batch starting off first, unless in this case, in this scenario, that's the only batch we have left. Okay, but like from the very beginning, we started off because that was the only batch we had. So that's the first thing that we eliminated. But as we start making our purchases, you have to follow the LIFO rule, which is you're going to take whatever came afterwards, get rid of those, and then dip into the red batch. Okay? Does that kind of clarify your question?
Yeah, I get it, because I was putting myself as the customer, you know. But then I try to incorporate both when it comes to being the accountant, preparing all those things, or the bookkeeper, you know.
Mm-hmm. Now, the bookkeeper doesn't actually do any of this. All they do is just record. This class is to prepare you to be both the bookkeeper and the accountant. Now, this is going to be wearing the inventory manager accountant hat. Right? So you're going to be looking at different aspects in business in general, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you're hiring all these people, you want to make sure that their work, and they're not trying to fraud you, that their work is where it stands, right? Because as the accountant, you also have to double check their work, even though it's not your area. As the accountant, you're responsible for collecting every single piece of data from the inventory manager, from my sales representative, from my purchases area. They all need to line up because they're all going to be communicating with the accountant to give their piece of information for you to give to the bookkeeper to journalize. Yes, chain of command. So, because if you're the accountant, you cannot be the inventory manager and the purchasing, and you cannot be PR or not. HR and sales. You cannot be everybody because then there's the Sarbanes-Oxley Act that comes into play saying you need to separate duties to prevent fraud from happening. Okay? But the accountant can oversee those other ones because ultimately they need to make sure that their accounting work complies and is actually what their calculations are correct. Okay. That was a tangent, but I hope that answered your question. Okay. So let's go ahead. Now it's it's almost 10 o'clock. If we push forward, I can let you guys go early because again, we are right on schedule. If you want to take a break, let me know. Or do you want to push forward, finish up the problem, and then just take the rest of the day off? What do you guys want to do? Keep going. Yeah, everyone wants to leave early, right? It's Tuesday. Yes, okay. So, again, here we are. We finished up this first scenario. We have 100 items remaining in our inventory, right? Here, because we already recognize that we only have our red batch left, we don't really need to actually sum up our totals at the end, okay? And we should already know when we dive into our coffee cafe, we'll look at our cost of goods sold ledger, and you'll always know how much there is that you've sold within the month. Okay, so you don't need to actually calculate a total. It's just good practice. It's just good practices if you want to make sure that your inventory worksheet matches your journals. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and proceed. So let's move on to question number 2. Here, we're going to continue from above. Your inventory method is Perpetual and it's Lifo. So here we see on May 31st that you should have 100 items left on inventory or 100 units on hand. So in this case, yes, we have 100 units. And I'm going to go ahead and dump this here in my inventory worksheet from my previous worksheet, right? We know that we should have 100 items remaining and it's for a total cost of $310. So I'm going to transfer this information over here. All right. So my quantity on hand is going to be 100 at $3.10 each. And it's for a total of 310. Okay. Now I am going to highlight this red because that is what we started with and that is what we're going to continue our inventory with. We're going to keep it at red for now. Okay, because we started it off in our first worksheet. We don't need to switch up the colors now. We can keep it remaining so we know when we started. So here, May 31st, that we have 100 items on hand. Okay. Okay. So first things first, what happened on June 5th? Not a question. What happened on June 5th? Okay, so we're bumping up our inventory. We're bumping up our prices. So in this case, we have $4, and it's going to be 800 items. So we're going to go to our inventory number 2 worksheet. We're going to indicate June 5th. And now which column are we going to belong to? Actually, wait. You know what? I'm going to shut up. You tell me what to do.
On the purchases,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
22,800, unit cost of $4. Total purchase, total amount is 3,300 with a rate of 100. Cost per same at $4. I'm sorry, 3,300 divided by 800. That's 4.125. So on the inventory, we take the quantity, transfer that 800 here at 4.125 3,300.
Okay.
Indicate that color, different color codes. Purple? Yeah, that's fine. Yellow.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yellow it is.
something that can be seen more clear for everybody.
Okay, good. Right. What happened next?
We sold 350
We
at $4. 4 point. Oh well, 350 on 6/7.
oh, life 2 worksheet. Okay.
And you record under cost of goods sold.
Yes, ma'am.
And those units were taken from the yellow.
Mm-hmm. So what's my total cost here?
$1,443.75.
Mm-hmm.
And then we subtract 350 from the 800. Should be 450.
Good.
And then we update the inventory, the yellow batch.
You're putting the information under the freight.
Yes, I noticed that. Thank you. Okay. Good. What happened next?
Purchased $7.50 at $4.25 on June 10th.
Okay, so
So we're gonna put that in purchases,
mhm.
750, 25.
Four, wait, 425 or 435? 425. Okay,
425.
got you.
$75, right?
$32.62.50.
32.62.50.
Good.
4.35 is your total cost.
Oh, did it go? Did it come out even? Yes, it did. Wow. All right. Okay. What color you guys want to change? Make this one this time.
Just put green.
Green. Okay. Good. Then what happened next?
June 12th, 450 units sold.
Mm-hmm.
And put that over cost of goods sold,
Mm-hmm.
450. Let's see, 450. And we take we take from the green batch,
Mm-hmm. So how much does it cost per the green batch?
$4.35.
Mm-hmm.
1957.50.
Mm-hmm.
And then we subtract the 450. $300.
300. I'm gonna go here.
And you subtract 450 from the inventory on hand from the green batch.
Okay. So, all right. Good. 305. At 1305, my bad. 1305 is what we have left in our green batch. Good. So, what happened next?
We sold another 500 units.
Okay, on June 15th. Okay. 500.
Yeah. So we use first the last batch there, the green. We put 300 of that.
It was
500, so we take the 200 from the yellow batch.
okay. So
300 at 1305. Total cost. Total cost of 1305.
good.
300 times 14.25 is 825.
Oh, wrong one. There you go. Yellow batch here.
So we update. Okay. So we that is now on the purchase. So we subtract the we include the 300 here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to be taken out from the total inventory from the June.
Mm-hmm.
So 300 subtract that is 0 out. Cost of 1305. Subtract 1305. And then we can on the 100 we zero out. Start with 0. Update that.
Good.
Then the difference in the 300 to be taken out from the yellow, so we transfer that on the total purchase of 300. 300, 450 minus 300. Minus 600 minus 825. That's 1031.25.
Good. What do we do here?
Now the last column there on hand would be 200.
200.
Yeah. Oh no, 250 I should say. I'm sorry.
Good.
250.
Good.
1031.25.
Good. Okay. So here, what happened on the 20th of June?
On the 20th of June, we
Mm-hmm.
purchased 600 units
Good. At how much?
at 400. I mean, I'm sorry, $4 and point. Well, I can't talk today. $4.05 on
Good.
the account.
Good. And freight cost?
Was $20.
Okay, so we purchased 600 items at 405. So let's on June 20th. Okay, where are we indicating this 600 items?
What was your question?
Where are we placing the 600 items? Like which column are we gonna start in?
In inventory.
There's a step before inventory.
Um,
Are we
okay.
gonna start on the left? I mean, where are we gonna start on the cost of goods sold, purchases, or inventory?
Oh, we're gonna do if we purchase at cost of goods.
Okay. No, wait, what?
Wait.
Put that on the inventory on hand.
It would be under purchases and then inventory on hand.
Exactly. We need to calculate our we need to calculate our purchase first, right? We got 600 items at 405.
And that's equal to 2030.
230.
Okay, 2 430. Good. And our freight was how much?
24.50 is the total.
2450 is the total, which gives us a what for cost?
0.083333 and on.
Okay, wow, we got that number too. So here, we're just indicating that it's going to be a big number or decimal points, okay? And now we can go ahead and transfer into inventory on hand. So we have 600 items. And it's going to cost me this much. Right. And what color am I going to pick this time?
Gray.
Gray?
Mm-hmm.
All right, guess we'll do gray. Let's do that gray. Okay. Right. So what happened on the 22nd of June?
You sold 250 items.
Yes, we sold 250 items. So I'm going to go ahead, find my area. So 622. We sold 250 items. Now, what batch is available and which one am I taking out of?
I'm going to take it out of the gray bag.
For $4 and good.
Point. The low number.
And what do we get our total here to be?
And 2083.
120.83. Okay. So what are we going to do now?
Subtract the 250 from 600.
And we get, okay, good.
Leave the 350.
Okay, so what am I going to do now?
Update inventory on here.
To 350 to get the same exact number. And good, we verified. We're good. We're solid. Okay. Then what happened on June 25th? Okay. Are we going to be in cost of goods?
We put first on the purchases.
Yes.
Purchases column. I always think because I try to write them individually.
That's fine. So we originally purchased 350 items at $4.35. 15. Oh. It's $4.35. multiply?
plus 4.49285 per item.
Okay. And then what do we do now?
We put it on inventory on hand. We purchase at 350.
Okay.
Input another color code.
I'll choose blue. Okay. Good. All right, now let's see what we lastly did on the 27th of June. What happened on the 27th of June?
So 550.
Good. So on the 27th of June, 27, we sold a total of 550. Now, what are we going to do here?
So first the blue box
Hmm? Mm-hmm.
at 4.49286 per item. So the difference 300. There's a mark on the the yellow code. Oh, the purple code.
This is gray.
Gray. Okay. 350. So minus 250. Well, 250 minus 4.4 plus 1020.
Are we taking 250 or taking 200?
200, 200, I should say. 360.7 cents. And now on the purchases, so we subtract the 350 out of the last box and zero it out. So purchase minus 350. So zero that out. And zero that out.
Okay.
And then the purchases again on the purchase column for the 200 quantity. Wait, 250. I don't remember my numbers. 350 minus 200.
Mm, not 250. What is this? What is the gray batch?
The gray batch is 350
350.
minus we sold 200.
Mm-hmm.
Let me quantity that.
which figure can you not see?
On the top part, on the
Oh, up here.
inventory, yeah,
Okay.
where I see referred.
So how much am I supposed to be remaining?
It would be 150.
There you go. 6, 12, 50, which is exactly what we ended here. Good. All right. And then what's our last thing that we need to know? On June 30th, we have how many in total?
100?
We have 100?
500.
500.
We have 500 on hand. So let's go ahead and let's look at our inventory worksheets. Okay, so we still have remaining 3 batches. Now, of course, if you just calculate it using your calculator, you'd be able to do that. With Excel, right, what we can do is at the end of a column, since we're completely done here, we can just go ahead. I'm going to go, where did I end it off? So here, I'll go ahead and indicate this is the total, right? Because we ended on our worksheet pretty early. So here is my, what happened here? I'm going to indicate my total here. Oh, jeez. I typed in an O. Total. All right, total. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to follow this line across. And I'm going to equal sum, which is a formula we need to know. Equal sum. I'm going to scroll up. And I'm going to click and drag the cells that I want to sum up. And I get a grand total of 500. And if I flat fill in my rest of my information here, I don't need the middle number. I should have a grand total of that 500 items should equal me a grand total of 1953.75. If you guys want to calculate those totals, you should get the same number. So we got 25 plus 50 equals 75. Good. So we are good here. All right. We got a grand total of 500, and it's for the total of 1953.75. So good. All right. Good. How do you guys feel about LIFO? Easy, right?
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
Wait till we go and dive into the next one, because the next one, not weighted, it's moving average. Because every time we make a purchase, we got to update our inventory. Every time we sell something, we got to update our inventory. So when we look at the calculations, it will make sense why it's called moving average, because every single time we make those kind of adjustments, we need to adjust our inventory, our average cost per item every single time. So we are moving the average cost along. That's why it's called moving average. All right, and we'll learn that tomorrow. And I'm going to show you the shortcut that I like, just because it is technically the very easiest thing that you can do, and it's also the fastest and I guess best way of explaining it. Okay, so again, if there are no further questions in regards to LIFO,